Hi, I'm Kathy and I want to show you today how I do a 50% water change on my Malawi tank. I do this once a fortnight on a Wednesday religiously. I've got, I don't know, probably 20 Malawi in there and 2 bristlenose plex, which to be fair do a really good job cleaning the glass. I haven't cleaned the glass since I've had them, so that's really good. They're really good at that, which is what they're there for. And 3 cynodontists, and they've been stable for I don't know, a couple of years now. I have lost one. I've noticed one of my big yellow labs has gone, but obviously she's been lunched, so I've not noticed a smell when I open to feed them or anything. So it's the filter's locked it in and eating it up, and it's safe. Talking of safe, I don't use water conditioner, so you'll notice that I don't put it in. But if I did, I'd just put it in when the hose pipe is running through and put it in the flow of the hose pipe. But this is the stuff that you need. It's safe. It's actually for ponds, so you need an absolutely tiny amount, like a pinch, and that's plenty. It does the same job, removes chlorine, chloramine, ammonia. So the only time I've used this recently is when we had to move the fish tank for it to be decorated in here. We had a new floor, so we had to move the tank, and we put the tank out in the kitchen, and the fish were in a water butt in the kitchen with all the filters running through. It was a right palaver. So yeah, that was the last time I used that, was when I introduced them back in, and I lost about 5 fish. So while we're talking about that, talking about tests, it's the same with the tests. I only test if there's a problem. There's no point in testing all the time once you're set up and stable, because that's just a waste of tests. It's ridiculous. So this is the one I would use if I do test. And that, as I say, that was the last time I needed to test. It's API, freshwater test kit. And one thing I'd say to you to do is to laminate the cards. Anything with regard to fish keeping is going to get wet, so you need to prevent it getting wet so that you're going to ruin it. So yeah, laminate your cards so that when you're testing with your whatchamacallit, your test tube, you're comparing it against that. The glass is going to be wet, so you'll need to protect the cards. And that's how I do that. Food wise, what I spend when you don't need to, eBay, just get the cheapest ones. They don't care, you know what they're like Labradors, they'll eat anything. This is a 4 foot tank. I've kept Malawi for about 15 years, I think. Started with the 3 foot, and of course you always should go a bit bigger than what you think you need. So always go as big as you can afford and what space you've got. So I started with 3 foot, then I went to then I went to a trigon, one that fits in the corner. Then I went to a 5 foot, which was too big. So then I went to a 4 foot, and I'm staying at 4 foot. That's ample for what fish I've got. Kept them a long time, so I've perfected the way that I do a water change. I do it the same way every time. I'm going to talk you through it and what I use, the equipment that I use, where I got it from, the order which I do it, why I do it that way, and you'll see how simple it is. It's just Malawi are as hard as hell, and they can cope with it. Item number 1, a hose pipe. Keep your nozzle that you're going to put on the end of your hose pipe that goes into your fish tank separate from any other equipment. Like if you're going to wash the car with your hose pipe, you don't want to get shampoo contaminating it into your tank. You want to keep everything fishy separate. Number 2, somewhere to keep your fish stuff. That's it, just a box outside. In the box, just fish stuff. And that's it, nothing else. Don't contaminate things, just leave it like that. Okay, black buckets just for your fish, and a long hose. I can't remember the length of this, but you'll need to measure it according to your tank and where your nearest window is, or your door, or a water butt, wherever you're going to siphon it into. Just measure it first. I won't be responsible for you clocking up your measurements and not having enough hose. So yeah, black buckets. I always use 3, and I keep those 3 separate at all times. Have as many of them as you want. Right, this is our conservatory. Okay, can you see where the window is? My daughter's just come in there. She's gone now. That's the back door. That's the window. And the tap, the outside tap, is just by the back door. So this is what I do with my hose pipe. I'm just going to have to close the door because the dog's coming. This is the other side of the window. I'm going to turn that tap on hot in a minute and leave that going. Now that is where my tank is. I'm just going to walk you through. This is, excuse any mess, but people live here. That's the front door. Now my hose runs through the front door. However, before it used to, when my tank was in a different position in the front room, I used to be able to put it out the window into a water butt, which was ideal. But needs must, and this is easier because I've done the front garden and it's not possible to do that, and I've moved the tank and gravity's a problem. You'll see. Back to the tank, switch off all the power, heater, filter, switch it all off now. As I've been talking to you there, this is filled up, so I'm just going to see to this and start to fill the next one. Now, because I'm holding this, this is slowing me down. Normally I would have the hose pipe set up and pull through the window, which I'm going to do now, get that all ready. I'm on to bucket number 3. I've just been outside and put the hose pipe onto the outside tap. So normally I'd be back and 2, back and 2, back and 2, but because I'm recording this, it's obviously taking me time. So we'll take off 5 minutes at the end. Make sure you run your outside tap for a minute or 2. Can you see all that scum on the top of there? It's like a foamy white. It's evening itself out a bit now, but it's like sediment that's collected in your pipe while it's been sitting waiting for the next use. Sorry guys, it's just started raining. So when I'm running off that water, I run it into that barrel. It's got plants in it. See how I've unravelled the hose like this? See, I'm lucky I've got a bit of a back garden and a bit of a front as well, but I always make sure that I run some of the hose off, only enough of what you need. Don't go unravelling the whole hose pipe, you don't need to. Just what you need. Just like take a bit out and do what I've done, walk it on the lawn, just so it's long enough for where you need to put it into. Now folks, this is a bit difficult for me to do, so I'm just going to have to do my best. So open the top, sliders in there. I hope you can see that. So there's glass. Right guys, I showed you this bag earlier. This is where I keep my hose. This is where it gets a bit messy, so bear with me. Right, fellas. This is one end of my hose. You can see the thickness. I can get my thumb and finger around it. One rule of measurement is make sure it fits in your mouth. You'll see why later. I've covered that with the net so no fish get stuck up it. goes in. So we want 50%, so that's about right. Hose secure in there with the lid because it's heavy. Goes right the way round out of my front door. Right, here's the pipe. See how fast that's flowing out? Now can you see that level? How that water level has dropped. And how fast. That is real time. That isn't edited. That is real time. How fast that's dropped. So it's a shame that light's like that, but you can see it there. This is real time. I'm just going to keep saying that just so you can see how much time it actually saves doing this. You have to be careful that you don't let it go too low. That's why I've only put it that, sort of halfway, just below half, because I'll have to be here to get it out. So that's 1 minute that's taken. I will speed it up, don't worry. But yeah, that's 1 minute 13, 14. See the level? Oops. And just keep going. That's 3 gone in, and do another 3 usually. I think it's about 400 litres. Half of it is 200, so I do Pippa, thank you. This is Pippa. She hates the hose. Where was I? So 400 litres, a bucket holds about 10, half of 400, 200. I usually do 6 buckets, that's 60 litres. So I think for hot water, hot water, that's plenty. So I don't fart around with temperature. Why? If anybody's ever stood in a lake, they would know how bloody cold it is. And I mean really cold. In Malawi it probably would be a bit warmer, but I doubt it would be much different. So I've got the mix in there, so it'd be just like a natural lake. And just got to wait now to make it fill up. Turn the filters back on to make sure they're working properly. I run 2 filters on this, one either side. I don't know if you can hear me, it's quite loud. So I usually sit here and wait until I can't see the level anymore. If it's too high, you can see the glass slider. So you have to take a bit out then, or they've got no surface agitation and they won't have enough air. The heater's back on now, both filters are back on, they're both running alright. So just need to wait. So in the meantime, while this is all happening, I'll be going outside and putting my buckets away and my hose in my little box. I can just see a little bit still there, so I'm just gonna wait, because it's also noisy if you've not got enough water in there. It's noisier than you think. This is not very good light. Not long enough. Well, it's alright. So that is probably plenty now. Yeah, I would say so. And we'll close it out. And that is how you do a fast water change on a Malawi tank. Thank you. Quick one. When you put your hose pipe away, make sure you turn the tap off, the outside tap off, and drain what's left in your hose. So just keep the gun on and drain it, because otherwise when you unplug the hose pipe you'll get water sprayed all over you. Believe me, I've made all these mistakes. All the mistakes you can imagine. I've left the tank hose pipe running and flooded out the front room thinking I was being clever, but now I know how long things take, and I've got like a little clock in my head like a chef has when they're baking. They know how long things take, they don't need a timer. So yeah, it is experience, but this is the easiest way. Today. I've got 2 filters running on this tank. As you can see, one either side. They are both numbered and the plugs are numbered, so I know which one that I can unplug and disconnect and all the rest of it. So what I'm going to do to start is empty some water from the tank into a bucket. Why am I doing that? Because we will be rinsing the filter media into the tank water. The reason we do that is so that we don't kill off any of the bacteria using tap water, because the tap water has additives in it before it's treated, and it just saves a lot of time if you do it with tank water. It kills off a lot less. I'm going to do 2 buckets. I'll probably need more because it is going to be disgusting, because I can't even remember the last time that I did it. So we'll just make it up as we go along. Peace and quiet. So this one is number 2. Turn the taps off. I can't remember which way they bloody turn. That way. That way. That's my torch. Now you're all going to be thinking, as soon as she takes that off there, that's going to all come gushing out. And that is the beauty of eheim filters. Excuse the light. Doesn't spill a drop. Getting it back in, on the other hand, you'll soon see. So there it is. All I've done is drag it from out of there. It's in a cat litter tray, but you can use a washing up bowl or something. It's for any leaking when you put it all back together and put it in place. Right, this is where it gets wet. I'm trying to remember which one you turn on. Try the top one, because you have to open one of them to release the pressure, or you won't be able to get the top off. I'm going to try the top one, so I'm going to open this tap. Oh yes, that's grim. I'm going to unclip it all around the outside. Get that. Right. Take the top off. Make sure you keep the cable out of the way. Right. Oh. So you will have one of those in the top. You should have. These are your sponges. Straight into the tank water. Oh yeah, this is the one that I've got a lot of loose stuff in. This, oh my god, I can't even remember what it's called. It's been such a long time. Is it Matrix or... So I've got noodles, I've got alfragog, if that's the right name for it. I mean, that doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It's mainly on the foam. I'll move that out a minute and tip the water in there because I like plants. I've got most of my plants in leca, which won't benefit this because you can't control the levels of the whatever is in the fish shit. But this is going to be gross. Sponge in there. Just disgusting. Oh my god. Not a pleasant job. I've done this before and I've found baby fish in the bottom, so I'm just checking. One thing I'm also going to do is flush some water through here, because that'll all have fish shit in the pipe. So I'm going to push some water through there. I can't show you that really because I'm not a camera person. Right, so there, we're back on track. Go back in there. I'm going to put this in a watering can because it's good for the plants. I'm going to get my foams. Those in this water that I've removed from the tank. Don't want to rinse it too much, but keep in mind I've got another filter running on there, so if I wash a bit too much away it doesn't matter, and I will clean that one in a fortnight. Make sure that I've got enough good bacteria. was what I thought, to be honest. Probably thinking, what's the point in her doing that? She hasn't even washed the sponges properly, she's only squeezed them. But that is what you're supposed to do. This is where a lot of new fish keepers go wrong. Keep it too clean. You don't need it clean. You need bacteria. It's good bacteria. And if you comment on this, if I get enough comments, I'll do another post in a fortnight doing the other filter, because if I remember rightly, there's different. I don't know if it's just sponges in that one, can't remember. I don't think it's the same, but it might be. I can't remember what's in them. But let me show you the colour of this water. Shit, is it not? So that's good for the plants. This had a good squeeze. Doesn't need any more than that, because but basically when you clean it too much, you can start to have your tank will cycle itself again to build up the material, to build up the bacteria again. We'll have a mini cycle, which means that you'll have a spike of ammonia, which can kill your fish basically. Now, this is where it's going to get messy now. Right, so we get the tank water and fill this up. It's the easiest way to do it. Notice in a minute it's going to start coming out of that pipe there. I don't think you can see it, but so I'm going to turn that off now. Carry on filling it up, and I'm going to fill it until it's brimming, because if it's not, it's a bloody nightmare. I'm trying to think of that word. Prime. You'll have to prime it. This is the method that I saw on YouTube a while ago. Basically, fill it as full as it'll go, shove the top on it, it'll all leak out the side, but it'll save you having to prime it, and it's a nightmare. So fill it as full as it'll go. As soon as I put this lid on, it's going to all gush out. I will let it gush out. Now, I'm pushing it all the way down now. Oh! See, it's coming out of there. I'm going to have to turn that off. Oh, it's coming out there instead. No, I'll leave that on and just put the bucket there. This is why you should put a bowl underneath. I've done this so many times, so I've learned all the do's and don'ts. And this is the least messy. And I'll also say, get an EM, IM, however you say it, filter. Honestly, it makes it so much easier, so less messy, not as much prime it, honestly. Right, now I've got to get that out of there, because I will need to see later on if I've connected all the pipes properly, if there's any leaks. I'm sure it's called Matrix, I can't remember. It's basically supposed to lower nitrates in your tank. I think it's called Matrix, I will check. But it's supposed to lower nitrates. It doesn't work. It doesn't have any lasting effects. Same with the alpha-gog. It doesn't have any lasting effects. Sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these things wrong, but I don't care. Right, now I'm going to dry that off and dry everything as best as I can. One item I suggest you have is a fish towel, just solely for your fish. No contamination on it, just fish stuff. Clean the inside of this. Now connect all your pipes up before you turn anything on. Turn number 1 off again, see what happens. I hope it's primed it enough. Yeah, there we go. Can you see all that shit that's come out of it, for want of a better word? Hello my friends. Right, I'm going to go ahead cleaning this other filter today. So, see what's inside, shall we? First of all, we need to turn one of the taps on or the pressure won't allow us to lift the top. So I'm just going to do that now. But if it's not an eheim filter, you probably won't be doing that because it won't have taps on. But I don't know, it's been a long time since I've used another style of filter. Just unclip it. This is eheim, remember, so it should be nice, easy, straightforward. There we are. Pop off. Put that down there. So let's see what's inside. That's the parrot. So we've got one foam. Just going to put straight in there. Not as dirty as I was expecting, but I'll show you the water in it. Oh, what's that? So I've got some other media in this by the look. Some matrix and some alpha-gog and some of the white noodly media that's sold with it. I can't remember if it was sold with this one, but so yeah, it's another foam. These are the noodle things, which is really good for the bacteria. It stays inside there. This is the one that's going to be minging, because this is where it comes, it's sucked in. With the eheim, it's sucked in at the bottom. The others, it's at the top. Carefully look at this in the sink, because I've seen fry in the bottom of filters before. That's my parrot. I've got two filters running off this tank, so if I wash off a little bit too much in this one, it's not the end of the world, because the other one will back it up. So I'm going to rinse all these off. How do we wash them? Some old tank water. I've just taken this out of the tank because I'm doing a water change anyway. So all you do is basically rinse it out in the tank water. A lot of new fish keepers go wrong when they start up for the first time because they think it has to look clean, which is not the case. You need to have a bit of muck, a bit of grime, a bit of slime. It's bacteria and it's good. So if you've just bought a filter like this and it's been a week, 2 weeks, a month, don't open it. Don't look what's inside. Don't clean it. You don't need to. You can start off a mini cycle if you clean it too much, which is why I've got two also in case one of them breaks, and you've got the other one to back it up. So that one's not too bad, so I'll just give it a wring out. That water is getting very brown now, so I'm going to change it for the other bucket. Oh, there's a baby fish there. Dead. Not alive. Get it as flat as you can. Now, the next part is when you put your filter back on, it's going to have a lot of air. So if it's not rammed full of water, it's awful trying to get it started again. It's called priming. Don't know why. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this with water. I might just use tank water actually. I'll go and get a bit more out of the tank. Doing it this way eliminates the need to prime your filter again, because I don't know how other filters are with the pipes going together and things like that, because it's been a long time since I've kept another make of filter. My filters are a lot easier to clean than any other filters that I've ever had, because the water will stay in the pipes as you disconnect them. What's attached into the tank in the pipe, because they've got these taps, it will stay in the pipes. So the only bit of air you will have is the air in these pipes and this little bit here. So that's where there'll be air. So you want to eliminate any air. So I saw this is a cheat off somebody else. It's not my baby, I will say. But this is the way that is the easiest to not get any air trapped. Can't remember if that's open. I'm going to close this as well. This will shoot out everywhere when I put the top on, but that's what I want. I'm going to put some weight on it just to fill in any of the air gaps, which there will be. So I'm going to put the top back on, totally expecting to get a little bit wet, but not much. I'm sure. Oh, which way did it go? I'm sure it went that way. Only so it's easier for me to put it back in later. And you see it's going everywhere, which is good. Just getting all the air out. I'm just going to open that a little bit. This is my fish towel, just for fish. Now I'm going to go in, try and be as dry as I can. I can't remember which way the thing went in, so I'm going to put it that way in case I can't shut the door of the cabinet. So this is a bit wet on the outside, so I'm going to dry this because I don't want to mistake this for any leaks. Right, in I go. I think it went that way. I've almost filled it, but I do want to leave a little gap so I can make sure that the filter's running okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the filters on now. That's the filter that I did 2 weeks ago.